Okay, guys, welcome back to Let's Get Freaky podcast. Very excited to welcome our guest today. Today, we welcome to the Freaky fam, Brice Witherow. How are you, brother? Welcome. How are you?
I'm good, man. Good. Just tired. Been a long week at work, man.
Yeah, you tell me 6 days. Is that right? 6 days in a row?
We did 6 days for a couple months, but right now it's been 5 days. But we've been doing 10 hours every day.
Oh, yeah,
So yeah,
that's
it's
tough.
been rough.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's tough,
Good
man.
money.
Yeah, that's the good side of it. I used to do a 10-hour job,
Mm.
5 days a week. And it was a 2 hour commute each way as well, hour and a half commute each way, and
Oh wow.
it was a slog, man. Now I do 6 hours, and it just feels like I'm not working. It's really weird.
Hey, that's good though. Just
uh,
relaxation, basically.
yeah,
That's
I'm gonna. Yeah. So you've just done a night shift as well. So
yeah, yeah,
thank you
yeah.
very much because it's early morning now your time, and thank you very much for coming on, and
Yeah,
excited to
man,
have you,
definitely.
man.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on the show, man. I've been looking forward to it all week.
Oh, awesome, brother. So you are based in Tennessee,
Yes, I am.
which is a cool part of the US.
It
Um,
is a
I,
very beautiful state too. I mean, especially if you go out to Chattanooga, Knoxville area, beautiful.
yeah,
A lot of
man.
tornadoes, but
Yeah, well, that's but you got so much legends, lore.
hmm
As you say, a beautiful place. I speak to a lot of people from Tennessee, and it seems to be an area of high strangeness as well. I know that high strangeness is everywhere, but
yeah,
Tennessee, for some reason, you keep coming back to. There's mystery there, man, and legends, as I say. And
yeah. There's a lot of stuff here, like the Bell Witch, of
yes,
course. You know the Bell Witch Cave. Of course, you know here as well, especially in the Middle Tennessee part where I'm from. You have a lot of the Cherokee, a lot of the Native Americans actually stayed here until the 12 tiers, which they expanded out. But a lot of them did stay here in Tennessee. So you got a lot of Native American burial grounds, like in down in Savannah, Tennessee. There's a lot down there at Shiloh. I mean, that's just spread all over the place. So, but there's a lot of legends, a lot of spiritual, you know, appearances that happen,
hmm
and just so much, so many. I mean, it's just insane to count.
yeah, man. It's a place I definitely want to get to soon.
Hmm.
That is my goal. I want to get out there, man. I've got a lot
Yeah,
of
definitely
places
come
to
out here,
see out
man.
there.
Yeah, definitely come out here to Tennessee, man. It is a wonderful state.
You might not be able to get rid of me. That's the only problem. Once I come, I probably won't go back.
Hey,
I'll
hey,
be an
everybody else is
illegal
moving here,
alien.
but
Yeah.
I mean,
So for anyone that doesn't know you, can you give us a brief description of yourself? Tell us a little bit
yeah.
about yourself, and then we'll get into the freaky stuff as well.
Yeah, so I know you introduced me, but my name is Brice Witherow. I work at the Nissan manufacturing plant in Smyrna, Tennessee. Um, I'm a volunteer firefighter, and I'm also a Civil War reenactor for the Ninth Kentucky Infantry, which is based here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I've been doing Nissan for 7 years. I've been a firefighter for eight and a reenactor for six. So doing that for a long time. Now, my love and passion for history started when I was young, you know, watching a documentary of World War II to my family being part of the military. My great-grandfather served in the Navy in World War II. My step-grandfather served in the British military during the situation in Belfast in the 70s. My grandfather, my dad's side, served in Vietnam in the Navy, and my dad served in the Air Force in Desert Storm. And so their
Wow.
stories and the documentaries I watched, you know, just had me love that passion even more and just studying it for years. Everything military history wise and just regular history as well. So I'm huge history buff.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, I've always loved history myself as well. Like, always been fascinated by it. But I feel
Hmm.
like as I'm getting older, I'm getting even more into it, man. I'm loving it now. Like I'm at the
Hmm.
stage where I'm finding like history documentaries to go to sleep at night. Like I'm really into it
Oh
right now.
yeah. There's actually a really good app
Hmm
that I have. It's called History Hit. If you
History
ever get a
hit.
chance, History Hit, yes. If you ever get a chance, you know, look it up. Uh, there's a good guy on there that explains a lot. He goes to a lot of these different sites, him and his group. They talk about like the Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon. They go to the site of like Pompeii, the Rome Colosseums. I mean, it
Wow.
is it is a beautiful app. I love it. I've watched I don't know how many things on that app, but
Wow. Well, is it all the
yeah,
same guy, like to putting out different documentaries or?
it's most of the time it is the same guy, but there's also other people as well that explain in the different parts. A lot of the places that they go to. Um, it- what they say is like Netflix for history,
Oh,
basically.
wow.
So
Oh,
it's
man.
not just like documentaries and stuff, but they also have podcasts as well on there that you can listen to. Um, you know, they uh,
Interesting.
they do a very, very good job with it, and I actually watch that a lot. Plus the History Channel.
Yeah. Oh, man. I love it. I love it, man. Oh, I will download that for sure. Because
Yeah, man, it's
as I say, I don't know what it is. The older I'm getting, the more and as actually at the moment, I'm like massive on like American history.
hmm
Like I'm just fascinated by it. Like I recently watched American Primeval on Netflix.
hmm
Oh, what a show, brother. I mean, there's some great Western shows out there and stuff like that, but this was like brutal.
Yeah,
And
American Primeval Man is just that's an insane show in itself.
oh, yeah.
That and Shogun as well.
Yes.
Shogun is another great show. But
1883. You seen that? 1883?
yes, I have.
Oh, so good.
Very,
So good,
very,
man.
very good.
And
I need to watch. I need to watch 1923.
oh,
The
that's
one with
amazing as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There's a
I
new
haven't got
series
to watch
out.
that yet.
There's a new series just come out of that as well, like the second part. That's it. Oh, I need to watch that. But
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah. But what I find just so amazing, like especially with them shows as well, is that was like what 200 years ago, not maybe a little bit longer, but that blows my mind. That's really
Yeah,
not that long ago.
yeah. American Primeval. I mean, that actually takes place 10 years before the Civil War happened. So that's
Wow,
yeah. So 170 years ago.
wow. So it's not that long ago, really.
Yeah, and
Like
then
when you think,
Byram Young, the character in there, Byram Young.
hmm
The college BYU,
yeah,
named after Byram Young,
yeah, yeah. That's wild, man. It's
and he was
wild.
brutal too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean that show is just is wild. It's an eye opener,
hmm
and
hmm
when you think about, you say 170 years, it's what like three lifetimes, like three or four lifetimes, maybe like
Basically, yeah,
could be
like
two
region.
lifetimes.
Hmm
You know, it's incredible. It's
Yeah,
fascinating, man.
that's
Ruthless times, and it wasn't that long ago.
yeah, yeah, really.
And
All because of the Mormons.
yeah, yeah, I know we're living in crazy times now, like that's for sure
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
are. But I mean, I feel like we're a lot safer now. I
A
know
lot
we,
safer than what we were before. I mean,
yeah.
there's still a lot of crazy stuff going on,
Oh, for
especially
sure.
over in Israel, Iran, and the situation there, and Ukraine, and Russia. Hopefully, they can get peace with that soon. I mean, I
Hmm.
know all that's still going on majorly, so but
Yeah.
hopefully everything just kind of dies down with that over there. But other than that, yeah, I feel like we are more in a safer time than what we were,
Hmm.
especially.
Oh, we're frozen.
Yeah,
We're back. I don't know what happened there. We froze for a sec. Sorry, man.
not good. But yeah, so I mean, we're definitely a lot safer now than what we were 50 years ago with the Cold War. Because the Cold War was a dangerous time too, with us and Russia, being in an arms race with each other. The Cuban Missile Crisis, the Bay of Pigs invasion. I mean, the whole conspiracies that took on with that, uh, especially JFK being assassinated.
Hmm.
That the whole documents just now declassified.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man. I
which I already
still,
know who done it anyways, but
yeah, we know, didn't we? The thing is, it probably wouldn't take a lot, like especially with how we're seeing how the world is right now. It probably wouldn't take us a lot to set us back to those crazy times. Like it wouldn't take
right.
too much. It's quite a scary thought, but I hope
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't. But it, I
It's just
know.
like it's like one of those little things, and I explain this a lot to a lot of people is that history can repeat itself.
For
It
sure.
very and it has a few times. I mean,
Hmm.
it's scary to think about, and that's why I harp on history so much because it's important to learn because a lot of stuff with the Holocaust, what Hitler did in World War II, Stalin's mass execution of his own people as well that he did during World War II. I mean. with what happened in Japan, like what I talked about, the Sengoku period, like those huge civil wars for almost 200 years. I mean, it can repeat itself in a way that we will not expect.
Hmm.
So that's why we always got to be very careful, and that's why we really, really got to, study on these things and learn these things so that it does not happen again, especially with the Holocaust,
Hmm.
because
100%.
6 million people died in that alone within a span of 6 years, and
Hmm.
it's crazy to think. I mean, 6 million people, that is
Oh man, yeah, for sure.
a
And it's,
lot of people.
and people don't really, we don't really learn, do we? We keep making these
Hmm.
mistakes. It might look a little bit different, but it's heading the same sort of way sometimes. And it's like, oh, and
Yeah,
yeah, it's scary, brother. But hopefully not.
yeah. Hopefully
But
not.
we'll
Fingers
see.
crossed.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, the world's moved so quick now. It's hard to keep up with what's going on, and things can change in a day, you know. But hopefully, better times are coming.
Yeah. What's today? Friday? No.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. So you're a Civil War reenactor, which
Yes.
is really cool because, as we were saying, we love history, and especially I love that kind of history, like the American history.
Hmm.
How often are you out doing these practices? What really is it for people that might not know much about it?
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways that you can actually, if you ever want to join a unit or something like that, you can always look online, but Google or anything, like check out what kind of units are in your area. So like my unit, I looked online one day, looked at Google, see who was on the area and whatnot, see, if I could join. And I found the Ninth Kentucky, which they did a living history over here at Stones River Battlefield, which is here in Murfreesboro. Went over there, saw them practice, and went up to the guy that was in charge, my first sergeant. I was like, "Hey, I would love to join y'all's unit," and blah blah blah. So he just told me, email him and get me squared away, and so there I was. I joined, but we often do it at least about once a month.
Oh
Um,
wow.
I try to at least. There's months where we have like a little bit of break to where we can rest, regroup, kind of work on our equipment if we need to fix something, clean our guns, you know, do anything we can, get more equipment if we need more equipment. Um, and we often try to do one or two reenactments throughout the year, which we had one in March that I was not able to do in North Carolina because of work, and I didn't have enough time to take off. Um, but we got another one coming up in Kentucky in September, October, somewhere around there. That's supposed to be a pretty good one as well, pretty big one. But we do a lot of living histories. We do a lot over here at Stones River. We do some in Munfordville, Kentucky, where the ninth was actually formed. Um, we do some other ones in Kentucky as well, like in Mill Springs. We're possibly doing one in Lookout Mountain in Chattanooga this year. So we go all over the place. Like we go to North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, all throughout this region because the Ninth Kentucky was actually heavily involved in the Western theater of the war, which is Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, mainly in Tennessee and Georgia itself.
Hmm.
Um, but that's where we do a lot of right there. And depends on what unit you join. You can go into the Eastern Theater, like in Antietam,
Hmm.
Gettysburg, um, Cold Harbor, in places like that out in Virginia and in the East, because you had two different theaters right there, the Western and the Eastern Theater. General Grant was actually in the Western Theater first. So his first actual campaign was in Tennessee, and then went down to Mississippi to Vicksburg and Corinth, and then in 64, 1864 is when he actually was called out east to fight Lee in Virginia and to help win the war there. So, but I've
Interesting.
been I've been to a couple of sites where General Grant stood, which was Fort
Wow.
Donelson and Shiloh. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, man. So you're going to obviously some amazing places.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So there was
How long would they take the reenactments? Like, is it like a
all
couple
weekend,
of days?
all weekend.
And you'll camp out, you'll stay out and you'll live as they slept at night and stuff.
Exactly.
Wow.
I actually had my tent, got everything I need, my plate, silverware, my
Yeah.
canteen, cup, all my stuff. We'll sit by the fire, at night, hang out, just talk. Talk about either stories of like now or talk about stories like from soldiers in the past or talk about like some of the history of, let's say if we're at a reenactment in Kentucky or something, talk about the battle that took place there, like in Mill Springs or in Perryville, some of that. So we'll just sit down, we'll talk, smoke a cigar, maybe have a glass of whiskey, just
Wow,
even
man.
though that even though liquor was profound there in the during the war, but actually in the war, a lot of guys snuck it into camp and stuff, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so
We find a way. We always find a
oh
way. Doesn't
oh
matter
yeah,
what era
100%.
it is.
It's fun though. It's fun doing that. I enjoy just sitting there, hanging out, just dressed in that wool,
Hmm.
the sky blue pants, the shirt, having the hat on, just hanging out, just living in that moment.
Yeah. It must
Because
be
there's
quite
been
like a spiritual thing as well. Is there like a spiritual aspect to it where it's like
it can be,
you're
yeah.
connecting with something like that
hmm
happened hundreds of years ago, but I don't know, man.
I had a couple of little experiences like that though, doing a couple of reenactments. hmm
Oh, interesting.
there's one specific one to where we were doing the Battle of Perryville, the 160th Battle of Perryville, which was actually a pretty big event. We had, I think the actual number was about 2,000 reenactors that were there. So we were actually redoing recreating the battle on the actual site, and we were doing the Union retreat because the Ninth Kentucky is part of the Union, um, and they were actually heavily involved in that battle. But we did the Union retreat, and I was a flag bearer, so I carried the flag in the battle. And as we were doing the retreat, I I had the moment of like I was in that time, like I was living right there in that moment in the past because you had the Confederates firing at us like close. And I was just sitting there carrying the flag, looking around, all the other guys just firing right beside me and stuff. I was in that moment while standing on the actual battlefield. And I was like, wow,
Wow, man.
it
Yeah.
it is crazy. And I had another moment like that in so the Battle of Resaca down in Georgia, and another one in the 160th Chickamauga in Georgia as well. And
Wow.
Chickamauga was actually one of the bloodiest battles as well, with 30,000 casualties. So,
Man. So in that moment, and you're in that world, like you're in that time, you're in that timeline.
mhm.
How long did that last for? That feeling.
At Perryville, it lasted for at least a good maybe 20 minutes.
Wow, it's a long time, man.
Yeah, so like I felt like I was there for at least about a good 15, 20 minutes, just living in that moment. Now we don't do a lot of the reenactments on the actual sites because a lot of the sites are uh, controlled by the NPS, the National Park Service. So we have to do it like on a different site somewhere close to the field.
Hmm.
But there's been a couple of times like Mill Springs and Perryville where we were actually on the site, and Perryville is one that really just stuck with me the most right there.
Was you aware that you was like not you, or did you still know you was you, if that makes sense? Or
I I, I still knew it was me, but just in that time, just how close the Confederates were firing volleys, which if you don't know what a volley is, it's where you have a regiment firing all their guns at once. So 50 guns firing at you at one time. And just seeing guys like just start falling.
yeah, Man, yeah. And was there real fear for like your life? Like you actually thinking I'm gonna get hit and I could die now? Was that it? Was that a...
Basically,
Ooh,
it can get like that. Yeah, especially
yeah,
when it comes to Civil War reenacting.
yeah.
Definitely.
What do you think was happening there? Do you think that is like a type of meditation and you're just so deep in that moment, or do you think you're actually picking up on energy that was there?
I think it could have been a little bit of both. I think it could have been, a type of like meditation, but I think also it was just like spiritual wise too, since we were actually on the actual battlefield, in the same exact positions where both armies were, advancing and falling back, back into the actual cornfield, into the tree line, like what
Hmm.
we did. So it was a little bit of both in that moment.
Interesting, man. Do you think it's possible that you're taking on like the maybe the spirit of a soldier there? Do you think that that's
Possibly,
possible?
possibly,
Yeah,
very well could have.
yeah.
Because I mean that battle too was actually the most important battle for Kentucky. The Union lost that battle, and the Confederates actually took part most of Kentucky during that time, even though that Kentucky was split. But Perryville was actually the important battle that the Union needed in order for them to actually push more eastward from that region. But again, the Confederates won, and I think it wasn't a lot of casualties. I think it was about 2,500. I think it was
Hmm.
about 500, 600 killed somewhere there in that battle. But how intense it was, though, is what really, I guess, had me have that, spiritual connection with that.
Yeah, yeah. And not many people are going to actually feel that. What it actually,
Hmm.
I know people, we're still, there's battles going on all around the world now, we know, but to actually feel that, what you felt there, and to be in that
Hmm.
moment, and to actually, not many people are going to know that feeling. Like we can watch
Hmm.
all the YouTube documentaries and we can read all the books, but to
Yeah,
actually
and
feel
actually
that,
go to the sites. Yeah, and actually go to the sites and watch us actually, performing and
yeah,
stuff. But being in that wool and smelling that gun smoke, and also hearing the cannon fires as well,
yeah,
it takes you to a different place.
yeah, man, yeah. Was it after like once it's all finished and stuff? You're like, wow, like what was that?
I man, afterwards, whenever we, the battle commenced, and I was just standing there, I'm just like, holy, yeah. I was like,
You can
holy
swear on
crap,
this, get
dude.
freaky.
I was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
I was I was in awe,
Hmm.
honestly. And just being able to do that too, and also carrying our regimental flag, was definitely an honor for that because of course you see in a lot of uh, paintings, a lot of pictures, documentaries where you see soldiers carrying the flag. It was a huge honor
Hmm.
because you're taking pride into your regiment, leading your regiment into battle.
Yeah, man.
And a lot of flag bearers actually died in the Civil War. I mean, the flag bearer goes down, next man up, picks it up and takes it with him. He goes down, same thing, just
Yeah.
constant. But I know that there was a flag bearer that was killed over here at the Battle of Stones River in Murfreesboro. And there was actually a story of that too. I got to look it up because I can't remember exactly how the story went. But Stones is actually one of the most important battles and also one of the bloodiest battles too. Uh, and there was one specific area where the flag bearer actually was shot and killed, and that was actually a rocky area over here, known as the slaughter pen.
Interesting. So the flag
Yeah.
bearer was like is an honor and an important job,
Yes.
and it's well that you've had that spiritual feeling while you're doing that as well. You
Hmm.
know, like if you connected with the flag bearer of the time, and oh, that's a cool thought, man.
Yeah, because you had in the war, you had seven people as the flag company. Because you had four colonels, or I'm sorry, four corporals, and then two or three that were regular infantrymen. So the two flag bearers were corporals. So I had my corporal stripes on, um, because you had the regimental flag and then you had the United States flag,
Hmm.
basically. Same thing if you were to see a Irish Brigade, the 69th Irish Brigade. You had the Irish Brigade flag, and then the American flag as well. So they would carry both of those into battle. Same thing. Same thing with the Confederates,
Hmm.
right? But they would just have the one flag, like let's say their regimental flag or their company flag, whether it's the Orphan Brigade or the Army of the Tennessee, Army of the Mississippi. It really depends. But for the Union, though, you had your regimental and you had the United States flag.
Would the flag bearer still have a weapon and still be like using the
No,
weapons? No.
no, they would not have weapons.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
Wow. So
Now
kind
the
even though it's an honor, that's a scary job
Yeah,
as well, man.
because here you are right in the middle of the line, right? Right in front. We have the rest of the regiments, the rest of the companies that are right beside where you are, and they are the ones protecting you. So let's say they go down. So the flag bearers. So once the infantry goes in, flag bearers will kind of step behind, and infantry does their thing. Then flag bearers would step up, and then they would march.
Yeah.
Let's say if a volley happens, and oh no, flag bearer goes down while they're marching, somebody picks it up, and if you ever get a chance, watch the movie Glory.
Glory.
Yes, with Denzel Washington,
Okay.
Michael B. Jordan, and not Michael B. Jordan. It's Denzel, Morgan Freeman, Matthew Broderick, and there's several good actors in there. But that's actually about the 54th Massachusetts. Um, but check out that movie. It is a really good Civil War
Interesting. And I guess the flag bearer is quite an easy target as well then, because
movie. Can be.
yeah, and they're going to want to take out the flag.
Hmm.
Oh man.
So it's a scary position, if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
if you think about it.
So the guy when you're reenacting and you're going up against like the other side,
Hmm.
so they're obviously a part of a group in another part of the US, and you guys meet up and you'll go against each
Basically,
other
yeah.
on certain days. Yeah. Is there ever a little bit of like actual rivalry there? Like, does it ever get a little bit?
It kind of depends. I know some guys can talk crap to each other and whatnot, but a lot of it's just in good fun. We got guys from California that come over here to the South, to this, central part of the U.S. to actually join us. And we have one guy from Arkansas, Arizona, and California that come and reenact with us. Like if it's a big one, um, but we got guys from Michigan, New York, Massachusetts, just all over the U.S.
Yeah.
that come and actually, do all the events with us.
It's cool, man. So no one's slipping in a real gun.
No,
There's none of that. There's none of
I mean
that.
we do fire real rifles, but it's blanks. It's
Okay.
gunpowder.
Yeah.
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 So
So
they are
you're
they
feeling the sounds and
yes.
you're getting the full experience.
And then your
Man.
hands and mouth are all covered in black powder
Yeah.
at the point.
Wow. Yeah. Are you allowed to take your cell phone? Because obviously that's you do.
Just kind of sneak in.
You're not meant to. Yeah, you get a few pictures every now. Yeah, because I've seen. Obviously, I've been on your Instagram and I've seen the cool pictures of it, man.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
people need to go and check that out. I will put that in the show description so people can go
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
check that out. There,
Yeah,
you got some cool pictures in there.
there's one of the ones I have on there with the cannon and sunrise.
Hmm.
That was over down in Kennesaw Mountain, Georgia. So yeah, that was my first time being there 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And we were doing artillery. And I was camping, and I just woke up, looked out, and just saw the sunrise coming up and just shining down onto the cannon and the lumbar, which is the carriage that holds the powder and the ammo. I just saw it just shining down, and I was like, man, I gotta get a picture of that. And snapped it, and perfect.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's those
man.
little things like that when it comes to reenacting, man, that just really takes an awe.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful, man. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're getting a glimpse literally into the past, and it's so cool. Have you had any other
Exactly.
paranormal experiences on the battlefield or oh you have?
I, I have. I
Oh, let's
have.
go.
I've only had one experience so far though, surprisingly. Since I've been on a lot of these different sites, camping and stuff, there's one specific one that I've had experience on, and that is on Fort Donelson, which is up in Dover, Tennessee, right where the Tennessee and Cumberland River are. And that's actually one of the important battles that Grant needed to open up the gateway into Tennessee to move his gunboats down. Um, so it was me and another reenactor. There was just two of us. Um, we were camping out in an area a mile down where the fort was. Okay, so it was a Boy Scout area. Okay, so we went down there and we set up our tents and everything right by the river, and we got everything set up. Went, grabbed something to eat, and came back. Just hung out, chilled. We were sitting on one of the picnic tables, smoking a cigar, and I just started getting chills. And I was, what in the world? I was just sitting there smoking my cigar, and I just felt something weird, you know. And I turned around. There's this road that we went through. It was a little narrow road, and coming down the road, I see this orangish red kind of like ball of light just swinging back and forth, right? It was just swinging and then took off into the right into the tree line. I was like, what in the hell? But a few seconds later, I kind of look straight ahead and I see half of a half of a soldier, half of an apparition of a soldier with sky blue. I'm not kidding. Sky blue pants and brogans, which is shoes that we wear, just walking like down down the pathway like ahead of us and just vanished.
Wow,
I was, dude, I still get chills with that.
man.
And so I was like, what in the world? So I've watched Ghost Adventures my whole life growing up. Like that's one of my favorite shows. And I told my reenactor, I was like, hey, let's go chase it. And my buddy was like, are you crazy? No. I was like, "Oh, okay. But come to find out though, the next morning, so we asked the park ranger about it and about the area that we were in. The area that we stayed in was a contraband camp. And what a contraband camp was a camp to where African Americans, soldiers, um, basically would have either a runaways, basically stuff like that, in this one area. And apparently that there was a African American uh, federal soldier that took night watch in that area during like a little bit after the battle or during the battle itself, and we possibly saw that African American with the lantern because
Wow.
that's what it looked like. It looked like a lantern. It was swinging back and forth.
Whoa.
We did not know
So,
anything about that area at all until that next morning. So that's what made it even weirder.
wow, man. So do you think that was possibly two separate entities that you
Yes,
saw there?
yes.
Wow.
African American and possibly a soldier that was either killed or died in that camp. Because again, all I saw was just the pants and the shoes, and
Man.
maybe a little bit of the bayonet. but if I remember, but it was mainly, I know vividly, it was the pants and the shoes that I saw.
Wow.
And what's even crazier about this is I was in my uniform. I was in my white shirt, my actual blue pants, and my brogans as well, smoking a cigar. And also, we were right by the river too. Our tents were set up right by the river,
Man.
which I do know, and what I've read before is that when it comes to the paranormal, water can give off that kind of energy.
Hmm.
Storms, water, lakes, you know, anything like that. And sure enough, we were right by the river.
Yeah, man. Wow. What an
Yeah,
experience.
it was a crazy experience, dude. I mean, that's on an actual Civil War site. That was the first experience I ever had when it came to like
Wow.
Civil War paranormal.
Yeah. Wow, man. Is that the first time you've ever seen anything like that?
Hmm.
Man.
Yeah,
Wow.
out of all the sites I've been to, that was the first one.
Man. And was it that so the entity that you saw walking, like the half of the entity, was it like solid, but half of it just wasn't there, or was it like a
Yeah,
see-through?
it was solid and see through at the same time.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it was kind of like right in the middle of
Hmm.
that. I mean, I could just see the pants plain as day,
Yeah.
just like slowly walking.
Was it
I
sorry, man, you go.
I was like shit. Like I was excited, but also freaking out at the same time too.
Yeah. No, of course, man. You see something like that, and it's like your whole everything you know is like, what? Like you say, that's the
Hmm.
first time you'd had a paranormal experience ever?
Yeah.
Wow. So did you have anything as a child? Like, did anything ever happen as a kid where you might have seen something or experienced anything?
No, I didn't have anything happen to me as a child. Um, yeah, and growing up, like I said, I've watched Ghost Adventures, and that was one of my favorite shows because that's what really got me hooked into the paranormal
Hmm.
aspect.
Hmm.
I've never had anything though as a child
Interesting.
until until 3 years ago when I had that experience.
Wow. And after, did that just change your mindset on the paranormal completely? Or I know because
Y-
maybe when you've not seen anything, there's always maybe
Right.
that doubt. But did that
Oh yeah,
change everything for you?
there was huge doubt growing up of the paranormal. I was like, I mean, I love the show and everything. This isn't real. It was just all hocus pocus. No, seeing it right there in person was definitely a game changer
Yeah.
for that.
Wow, man.
And like I said, what just really got me excited too is like I was in my uniform. I was like, I
Yeah, yeah.
was like, holy shit.
Did anyone else see it? Did anyone else, any of your other buddies see
Uh,
it?
it was just me and and only one other reenactor, and the other reenactor saw it too.
Oh, wow. So
Because I
that's
asked
cool.
him, yeah, I asked him like, "Are you seeing this?" And he said, "Yes." Like
Wow.
almost like in a nervous voice, he said, "Yes, I am."
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, "Yes, so I'm not crazy."
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's the thing with the paranormal. Like, we'll see something and you're like,
Hmm.
okay, am I having a mad moment? Is this real? You know? But when someone else is next to you and they're seeing it, then,
That's where it all changes right
there's
there.
no
The
doubt
channel
at all.
again.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow, man. And how long did that moment last, would you say? I know that's difficult because you're in the moment, but
I say a good 5 minutes.
oh, wow. So quite a long
Hmm.
time to be able to assess and
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Because it was the lantern first
Hmm.
coming down the road where we came through. What makes it even crazier too is that there is a cemetery that's close by, like I think mile, less than a mile down the road from where the actual location was where we were.
Hmm.
But for that, like I said it was the lantern first for a good maybe 30 seconds, a minute, And then afterwards, it was that apparition that I saw.
Yeah.
But in the span of time, though, it was at least about maybe a good 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was late at
Interesting, man.
night too. Yeah, it was late at night, around 9 o'clock, nine,
Okay.
ten
So
o'clock.
so it was dark.
hmm
Wow, man. And so I don't know if you said this, but the lantern, and is that seen quite a lot as well? Do a lot of people see that? Is that sort of reported?
I've heard stories of people actually seeing soldiers still in the fort when it comes to night.
Wow. Yeah.
I've heard stories of that. I did hear stories of people seeing a lantern,
Hmm.
especially around the fort as well. Um, More apparitions of maybe full-bodied apparitions of soldiers or half of apparitions as well
Yeah.
inside the fort or in the trenches because the whole city of Dover was entrenched by the Confederates. And you can actually still see a lot of the trenches, a lot of the mounds as you drive by the fort and around the town.
So I'm guessing, and you might have said this as well, but the night you was there was a special date to the area.
It so it wasn't a special date because we did the 160th or the 161st
Hmm.
a few months before in February. This actually happened in April.
Okay.
Um, so we were doing an artillery event during that. Um, but it wasn't really a special date.
Hmm. So the lantern you saw, the light you saw, and then the other entity you saw, how quickly did they happen apart?
Say a few seconds from each other.
Oh wow! So it was quite a
Because yeah, so as soon as the lantern vanished, boom, that apparition in front of me just kind of appeared, and I saw it appear too.
wow. Yeah,
Because I was looking right at it, and I saw it appear, walk, and then just vanish.
yeah. Well, and you saw it disappear as well.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. Like it was, oh,
Yeah,
when I tell you, like when I talk about this story, it still gives me the chills because
yeah.
it's
No,
like
of
that was my
course.
seeing that actually in person. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
it gets me
yeah.
excited too, though.
It's amazing, man. It is amazing. It's such a
Yeah.
cool thing to see.
hmm
How it vanished. This might be difficult, but how it vanished. How did that look? Like, was it like just a complete disappear, or was it like a slow vanish?
Slow vanish. You know how, and sometimes you see some videos or some accounts where you see, you know, spirits just vanish like that, instantly,
Hmm.
and some actually kind of slowly disappear. That's what that one was, just slowly. But the lantern just kind of,
Yeah, just went out of
the
sight.
lantern just, yeah, the lantern just, as soon as it took off to the trees, poof. But the actual apparition just kind of like a slow dip down.
Yeah. Interesting, man. So another difficult question because we don't know the answers to this, but what do you think was happening in that moment? What do you think? Do you think you're seeing like an energy, like a trapped energy, as you say, it's right by the water, so that sort of gets linked with like trapped energy and stuff like that. Do you think that's what it was, or do you think you're seeing like the actual spirit of someone that still walks that forest?
I think it could have been both. I think it very well could have been, yes, an energy that is still trapped, where you have the water right there rushing,
Hmm.
because that river is a huge river. I also think that it was a soldier that was basically still trapped in that area. Maybe like they did die there from a disease or from a bullet wound or something like that, or a soldier that was killed at the fort that somehow was trapped in that one spot because the water was close by there. I mean, I'm not 100% sure with that, but I believe in some way it was a little bit of both
Hmm.
with that.
Yeah. It's interesting that you saw both entities like roughly the same time. It's like,
Yeah.
is there just a moment where everything aligns and we're just allowed to see that for that moment? You know,
hmm
I don't know what it is, obviously. We'd love to know what it is.
Yeah, I do too. That's the thing. Like
'Cause-
we need answers.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Because I've seen
And
apparitions. Like I've had that experience. Like I know, so I know that it's real as
yeah,
well, you know?
and y'all have a lot of rich history. And you're from England, is it?
Yes, yeah, yeah. I'm from
And
Essex.
yeah, so y'all have a lot of history, especially with Wessex, Sussex, London,
Yeah,
the whole area,
I'm
especially from
basically in Wessex now. It's not
okay,
called Wessex anymore. It's Dorset now, but
those
it was Wessex.
right.
Yeah,
So I mean, and that period, especially when it came to the medieval period too. I mean, y'all have so much rich history. So yes, I mean, you definitely would probably see a lot of apparitions. Especially if you go to the castles.
yeah,
So
man. Oh
that's
man, yeah. I've got a 1,000-year-old castle just down the road, Corfe Castle. I think it was built
oh,
by
you live right
William.
by there?
Yeah, man, William the Conqueror. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's where I'm
No
at.
kidding.
Yeah,
Dude, that is cool.
I've
I
there's a
love. I'm saying I love medieval history, and the castles especially.
yeah.
William the Conqueror, the Battle of Hastings, all that. I mean, that's one thing I love.
Yeah, man. Oh, for sure, for sure. There's a lot of history, that is for
Hmm.
sure. There's a forest near me, and I forgot that. I'm trying to. I told you I'm bad with names. I forgot the name of it, but I will remember, and I'll message you like later tonight. I'll be like, that's what it was called. And it's got like it's got Roman soldiers that are seen today still walking through the forest. And like
Whenever
some people describe it as like how you described it, as like a half of a Roman walking through the forest. Oh, I've got to
was it
remember.
when the Romans was it when the Romans actually marched through England
Yeah,
whenever they
yeah,
were doing their conquest over
yeah.
there?
And this was a big part. So there's a road from a forest near me. I forgot the name of it, which is ridiculous, but it's actually they march from there all the way to London, and I think you
Yeah,
can
and
still
captured
sort of
London.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They took yeah, man, wild. And people today still report seeing Roman soldiers. And we go there quite a lot, which is ridiculous. I can't remember the name, but it's where Thomas Hardy. You've heard of Thomas Hardy? It's like a famous poet in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
UK.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
it's where he lived, this forest. So if people want to do a Google search, they can find out pretty quick. So
yeah.
his one of his cottages is still there now, still stands there now, and you can go and visit it. And the rest,
Wow.
it's just a huge forest now, basically. And it's still got the Roman road. It's still you can still see the road that they
It's
made
still got that gravel road.
still there. Yeah, and you can walk along it. It's giving me chills thinking about it now because it's wild. And yeah,
I'm gonna have to take a trip out to England.
mate, you're welcome anytime, brother.
But
Let's go.
imagine though, like exactly. But imagine like how badass though it would be to actually see just like a column of Roman soldiers just marching
Yeah,
down that road. Like,
yeah, yeah,
I mean, it would freak you out, but it'd be like an all moment right there too. I mean, like if it's like a whole column, is I mean the Roman Empire, the Roman army, especially in England, was I think it was like
huge.
a million soldiers,
Yeah,
million, close to 2 million
crazy
soldiers.
amount. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So I mean, just that would be insane
yeah.
to see just walking down that road.
Well, they made roads. They were the ones that made the roads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And they're still here. They're still here today. Like you got Colchester in Essex, which has still got. I mean, there's Roman walls all over the UK, but there's still like a big Roman wall there. And it's amazing, man. I watched a documentary on YouTube last night. Funny enough, about English history, and I didn't realize how many times like sort of England was formed and then it was
Hmm.
parts of it were took over again and then it was England was nearly all lost again to the
Yeah.
Vikings and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
they fought back and got some back and then they lost it. It's mad, man, when you look at the history and
It's back and forth and in constant civil wars too that y'all had as well.
yeah, yeah,
Especially in the medieval period, like fighting each other for, control of the actual country.
yeah.
Again, like what Japan did, because Japan was doing the exact same thing,
Hmm.
while the Portuguese was actually expanding Christianity during that time. And of course, during that period as well, you had, the Templars,
Yeah.
that whole society right there trying to expand Christianity, but in more of a brutal way. Um, but you had so much going on in the medieval period, and plus you had the Holy Roman Empire too,
Hmm.
as well, the 30 Years' War,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
because
man.
all because of a bucket.
Wild. Our history is wild, brother. It is.
Yeah, 30 years of fighting just just of a bucket. If people don't know about the 30 Years War and don't know about that story,
Yeah,
definitely look it up
yeah,
because it's funny but also interesting at the same time.
yeah, man. That going back to the castle I've got down the road from it, Corfe Castle. I had
Mhm.
Mark Wyatt on the show, and it was really cool. He lives in the US now. He lives in where does he live? Indiana, somewhere in Indiana now, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But he used to live, he's lived all over the UK as well. And he was actually camping out at Corfe Castle when he was younger with a couple of buddies.
Oh, wow.
And he woke up during the night and in his tent, he like described seeing like a medieval knight just standing over him in his tent. And I was like, wow, like I need to go there.
I bet that
I
night
need
was
to
actually,
stay there that night. Yeah, I need to stay there
but
sometime.
I bet that night was just looking down at him like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Get up, we have to fight the French.
Yeah, yeah. They're coming.
Dude, I mean, just
Yeah, man.
waking up in the middle of the night and just seeing that, like, what did he describe it as like a full like
He he,
armor?
he
It was,
described he described it as like a bucket on its head, like how a
yeah,
knight's,
yeah, yeah.
you know. And he couldn't make out what it was at first, and he was like, what's going on?" Very confusing. Didn't really understand it, and then I guess it wasn't until like thinking about it that he realized what he had saw, and very
It was an
interesting,
actual,
man.
it was a night.
Yeah, yeah, wild. But I do feel like as well when because obviously castles and places like where you're reenacting and stuff like
Hmm.
some obviously some very scary wild experience took place there. There's some mad energy, and I feel
Hmm.
like when something big like that happens, there might be there's a reason why that energy gets stored there, or
Hmm.
I don't know what it is, but you go
Or
to a
like in,
castle and you can feel the energy there.
oh yeah, yeah, 100%.
Hmm.
It's like, the Battle of Gettysburg, in Pennsylvania. That battle alone had 53,000 casualties with, I think it was about 2,000 dead, 3,000 dead.
Hmm.
So imagine the amount of energy that is there and just the heartache.
Yeah.
And I've been over there. I actually went to Gettysburg in 2013, 2014. It's been a while and I need to go back, but um, I know a lot of people actually have experiences of, hearing gunshots, hearing cannon fire, men shouting, seeing actual full body apparitions of soldiers walking through the tree lines, walking through the middle of the road, especially right by the train station.
Hmm.
Um, I've seen stories of that. I've seen interviews of people talking about that and stuff, and you really get a lot of experiences over there
Yeah, man.
because again of how brutal of a battle it was.
Hmm. Hmm.
And same thing with here at Stones River. You had 23,000 casualties here, and same thing. You hear uh, men screaming, uh, actually fife and drum, the bands and stuff.
Hmm.
People say that they can hear that. Um,
Wow.
people say that they can hear the cannon fire going off, like faintly though, like
Yeah. Yeah.
just like out in the distance at night.
Yeah. That is
Yeah.
wild. When you had your experience that you were you were in the moment and you were there when you're
Mhm.
reenacting and you became a part of it. When you were looking around, do you think that it's possible that you were actually back in that time? Or do you think, could you recognize people around you? Like,
There. So there's actually been some moments where I'm in line, like we're formed up, we're in line, and our regiment and stuff about to march into battle. But I just take a moment and stuff. And I just look around and see, okay, who would actually be in the war? Like who would be like an actual good representation of war? Because there's some guys that actually have their mutton chops basically.
yeah.
Some guys that have beards like what you have, or small beards like this, what I have. So I take a moment, kind of look around and see like who would actually be in it, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there's actually a lady who does tintypes. which is the photographs of what you would see in the war, the black and white photographs.
Okay.
Um, and I'll actually have to send you a photo of it. But she did a tintype of my regiment uh, when we did the 159th Battle of Stones River, and it is a really really neat photo. I'll have to send you a picture of that
Awesome, man.
later
Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
because
Awesome.
you'll be in awe of, like
Yeah,
how detailed it is.
yeah. So interesting, man. It is. I'd love to get
Mhm.
involved in something like that as well, to just see the
Yeah,
feeling that
man.
you must get. When
Yeah.
are you next out? When's the next trip?
Next one we have scheduled is in May. We got a living history slash infantry training over here at Stones River. And then we got Kennesaw Mountain in June 28th through the 30th
Hmm.
down in Georgia. We got Lookout Mountain in Chattanooga coming up in around August. Um, we got a reenactment in Kentucky. Can't think of the name right now, but I'll send you it. Um, but we got a reenactment in Kentucky in September. Um, we got our anniversary living history in December over at Stones River. Um, and that's all I know right now. But we
Hmm.
do have quite
That's
a bit
quite a lot.
actually.
Yeah, that's a
Oh
lot,
yeah,
man.
a
Yeah.
whole year of activities.
Yeah, I think it's so important what you guys are doing because you're holding on
Hmm.
to that history. I know it's not that long ago, as we were saying, but these things will get forgot very quick if we don't hold
Oh
on to
yeah,
them and keep that actual picture of it, you know?
oh yeah. And
So
that's
it's
why
very
that's
important.
why I harp on so much of not just military history, but history in itself. I study on the civil rights. I study on you know the Cold War era. I study on politics as well. Like, and that's the one thing with history. History is also politic history as well.
Hmm.
And I study on that. So I mean, there's so many different aspects, so many different eras and generations of all of that information. And I harp on a lot of that
Hmm.
because it's important for people to understand because a lot of people don't remember it from school and everything, but
Yeah,
hey.
yeah. And then we get a little bit older and we're like, oh, I want to know more. Which is
So
where I'm
now
at
it's like,
now.
yeah. It's like now you understand, like, okay, what
Yeah,
all this means.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah. It all makes sense now. Because the thing is, obviously, we look back at American history and hopefully that is accurate. Like, hopefully, what we're seeing there is accurate because you can go back 1,000 years, and sometimes it's very hard with history to know if the history books are right, basically, because there's so
mhm,
much like especially in the UK as well with like Stonehenge, and then you got the Egyptian stuff. Like, there's a lot
mhm,
we don't really know, and I know that is
exactly.
a bit further back, obviously, but you know,
Yeah,
history can get lost, and then we're
yeah,
like,
and actually, I study everything from now and from Desert Storm
hmm,
all the way to Peloponnesian Greece, which ancient Greece in 490 BC.
wow, yeah,
So I study that whole cycle of all that.
hmm,
I mean, that's thousands of years of history right there that I try to go back and forth on,
yeah.
just studying all the different parts. There's a lot, but
For sure, man.
hey, I mean, I love history. I'm a big history buff, historian. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's what I love to do. It's what
Well,
I
I,
do.
I can tell your knowledge is really good. Like, just by talking to you for this short time, like there's so much that you know, and it's
Oh
so cool, man.
yeah,
I wish I could
yeah,
store all
Juice.
those numbers and dates, and I just can't.
Yeah, Drewski calls me the history encyclopedia. Is
Yeah,
what he calls me.
yeah, man. Shout out Drewski, Cryptid Warfare
Yes,
podcast,
yes, yes.
absolute
Shout out to
legend.
Drewski.
He connected us,
Yes,
and he is such a cool dude.
he is the goat.
Yeah, man,
He's
100%. He's a legend. He
yes.
really is. So, paranormal experiences, going back to that, was that
Mhm.
the only thing you've ever experienced, or is there any more?
When it comes to paranormal, yes, that is the only thing I've experienced as of right now.
Hmm.
Now, whether if it'll happen in the near future, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Camping on another site somewhere, I could have another experience, right? And obviously, if I do, podcast time.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
but Fort Donaldson, yeah, is the only one. I did have an eerie feeling at Shiloh in
Hmm.
Savannah, Tennessee, when I camped out in there, but I didn't. I didn't have any experience, and we were camping out on one of the bloodiest sites too. And I still didn't have anything,
Hmm. Hmm.
just a eerie feeling.
Yeah. I think that can be kind of a paranormal experience. Having that feeling, knowing that something maybe not right, but maybe something is strange going on around you. You might not be able to see
hmm
it, but you can
hmm
feel it. I think there's something to that. But I think you're
Especially
definitely
for
going
how
to be,
much, yeah, especially for how much carnage happened in,
yeah,
that one area too.
yeah.
I
You're picking
mean,
up on that
definitely.
energy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. I think you're definitely going to be having more experiences, that's for sure. I mean,
You never, that's it. You never know, man. I mean, that's the thing about the paranormal is that it's always kind of a hit or miss.
yeah, yeah. And even when we do have experiences, we're left with so many questions.
hmm
And we're like, I know I saw that. I know I'm not crazy. I saw that.
Yeah,
But what does it mean?
right.
You
And
know?
I still have questions, from that experience I had at Fort Donaldson. But you know, I know that to this day I still have like the
Mm.
chills, thinking about it and talking
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
It's
Well, I could feel it when you was explaining it as well. Like I can feel that, and it's so cool, man.
yeah.
Because I've seen things that I can't explain, and but once you see something like that and you know it's real, it changes everything.
Oh yeah, your whole mindset just changes.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you difficult question, but what do you think ghosts are?
I think that they are people that are trapped. I think there are people that, cannot find their way out, that they're connected with that one spot somehow, some way,
Hmm.
that some emotional attachment. I think that's what it could be.
Yeah,
Because you know how you love something, you don't want to let it go, like you're holding on to it. And I think when it comes to the spiritual world, I think people that are left behind, I think it's that.
interesting, man. Yeah. Interesting stuff, brother. I've got to ask you before you go. I know we've gone past our hour, and I know you've had a long night. Have you have you had any experiences with UFOs? Or I know you're in Bigfoot territory where you are. Have you had any other weird
Right.
experiences that stand out?
I have not actually. As surprisingly as that may seem, when Tennessee being definitely a big Bigfoot, region, especially when it comes to the Rocky, or not the Rocky, but the Appalachian Mountains, the Smoky Mountains.
Hmm.
But I haven't had anything like that. Just only paranormal.
Not yet.
Exactly.
Have it, have any of the dudes while you're around the campfires, has the Bigfoot topic come up? Has anyone
Actually,
ever?
no.
Interesting.
Yeah, nobody's actually brought up any Bigfoot topics. That's
Interesting, man.
actually that's actually a good
Yeah.
topic I should ask
Maybe
next
next
time.
time. Yeah. Guys, what are we thinking about the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch?
So guys, Bigfoot. Eh?
And record it and then put it out
Right.
there. Yeah.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Just like have like a little small microphone and just
Oh, I love it, brother. I love it, man. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experiences and the awesome work that you do. It's really
yeah.
impressive and exciting. And I know I'm going to be following. And I'd love to get you back on and talk more.
Yeah, brother.
When and if more happens, I know it. I'm pretty sure you're going to experience some more stuff because
Yeah.
you're
I'm
in,
waiting
you're
for
in,
that moment.
you're in that
Yeah.
zone. You're in that zone.
hmm
But do you want to tell the listeners where they can find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, at Brice Witherow, BriceWitherow. Same thing on Facebook if you want to follow me on Facebook. Um, Same scenario, Brice Witherow. But I'm more active on Instagram than I'm on Facebook. So hit me up if y'all got any questions, anything about history wise, any kind of topic. Um, Hit me up. I'll answer them. I'm all ears. Um, Other than that,
Awesome. Awesome, brother. Thank you so much, man. Keep up the great work, and let's talk again
Yeah,
soon. Thank you very much, brother.
yeah. Thank you, brother.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, make sure you share it where you can. That is a great way to support the show, and we'll be back very soon for more freaky conversations. In the meantime, stay safe and keep it freaky. Bye for now. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.